Wednesday. I wanted to bring people, we'll bring some of these women into the conversation that we were having because I was, addressing how some people would be like, well, wait a minute. She's a coach. Why are you bringing another coach here to talk to super women when you're a coach, right? And and I love your response. Like when I was saying like how listen, yes, I am a coach to the superwoman, but all superwomen don't like my personality. All superwomen don't have needs that I can actually speak to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, there's other superwomen out here who are kicking ass just like me. And I just want to be in that number, right? I just want to I want to connect good people with good people. And my heart for the superwoman is that she gets what she needs so she could be out here kicking ass, right? And so if I can't give it to her, or if she wouldn't get it because like my personality would be a block for her, I want her to know, yo, there's other superwomen out here that's kicking ass too that will really help you. And they have the same heart that I have. They're not trying to manipulate you, not just trying to get your money. They're not just trying to, acting like, they are who they're not. Like they are women who genuinely want to see you happy, healthy, succeeding, that kind of thing. So I love that, and that was one of the reasons why I was just like, I've got to introduce her to these women. I've got someone scheduled for this week, but I got to get you on because I just think you are so dope and I want to share you with super women around the world. So, Deepa, tell us, who are you? Like, who do you want women around the world to know deeper as? Like, what is it that you would want women to know about you or say about you as far as who you are?
Right. I think there are a lot of things I would like people to talk about me as. But I like the superwoman. So, yes, I am a superwoman. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a life coach. And I am from India, but right now I live in the Netherlands.
Okay.
So, yeah, there are a lot of things who I am and what I can be. So, yes, this journey is going on. And I particularly work with women who are into a career and want to align their personal and professional goals. Because I think it's one thing that women struggle with often because you have a career, you have kids, and you have a house. And then this whole thing can become too much, and too much on your shoulders, too much on the mind, too much on the heart. And we feel overwhelmed. And we sometimes think that we've not maybe made the right decisions of leaving the career or sometimes even having kids. Even though motherhood is
Right.
so rewarding, but we do have those what if I could go back. So I particularly work with women to have this inner peace where they accept the decisions that they took at that time and be happy with them so that they can continue their career without regrets.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. But you said something um about the decisions we make. I think that's really cool because the decisions that we make might rob us of inner peace sometimes, right? Tell us about Deepa. Like, tell us something that you had to face or overcome that allowed you to get back to or establish a place of inner peace.
Yeah, I think I was doing so well in my career at one point of time. And then I said, okay, you know what? I'm turning into, or I'm kind of going to enter into my 30s. So let's get married. I think it's the right time to get married before I'm too old and not able to have kids. A lot of people who say, oh, after 30 having kids is difficult. So like, no, I should get married and I should have kids. So I was like on a mission, on a purpose. I want to get married and I want to have kids. And then I was like, okay, let's go for it. And I found my husband, and it all worked very well. We got married. And then he was surprised when after like 6 or 8 months, I said, you know what? I'm ready to have a child before I turn 30. So, and he was like, really? So soon? And I said, yeah, either we don't have it. And if you want, let's get it over with. Let's have them now. And he
Wow.
was like, okay, if you say so. It took a while. Could finally conceive, but it did happen. And then when it finally, and when the baby finally arrived, I was on a maternity leave. And I said, oh no, I can't leave my baby after 3 months. She is so tiny. She is so small. She is so adorable. How can I leave her? I can't trust her with childcare. I can't trust her with anybody else. And as a first time parent, you just don't know what you're doing. So I was scared and I was overprotective, let's say. And I said, no, I don't want to have a job anymore. I'm going to quit and I am going to raise my child. And I was happy with that because I had been working for a long time. So, being a first time parent is hard, because you don't know what you're doing. You're not sure of what you really want, and your life completely changes because you're now responsible not just for yourself, but also for another life. And I, at that time, was like, no, I really want to raise my baby, and I don't want to leave her in an unknown place with unknown people who I
Right.
don't know, and I don't know what they'll be doing to her.
Right.
So
Right.
I quit. I really quit. I said, okay, no, 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 my child first. And I was ready to leave as well because I had been working for a long time, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to give me a good break. And I never thought about the future, the long-term future, as to what after 5 years, what after a few more years when she's a bit grown up. I thought it was all going to be okay. But then we moved to the UK and we were there for 5 years. And then I had my second child. He was unplanned. I got pregnant on coil. And it was totally unexpected. And I was like, now what? And
uh,
they said, you just have a 3.5 year difference between the two children. It's a good time. You just have only one. Now that it's coming, why don't you go for it? The child will have a sibling. My husband was like, yeah, maybe we can go for it. And I was like, I'm not prepared, but maybe, I don't know. I went for it and I had to. But then I think, I don't know, because I was not ready. And after a year, when he was 1 year old, I got so overwhelmed with this feeling of being a mother that I wanted to run away. I really wanted to run away from the house and the kids. And I was like, I have to find a job. I have to do something more with my life. And then I was like, why did I have children? What have I done to myself? I looked at other people and I said,
mm,
oh, they have risen like so much in their career because they didn't leave their job. If I hadn't, I would have been there as well. But it's too late now. What do I do? And that's when I was so confused, so lost, and so um, regretting some of my decisions in life
right. That's
that,
real. That's
yeah,
real.
I didn't know whether I was on the right track and whether I took the right decisions. And then, things that you hear at that time. Are you sure you want to have kids now? Are you sure that you want to have a second one? And that kind of starts playing in your mind again. Did I do the right thing or did I not do the right thing? And even though, like I said earlier, motherhood is so rewarding because the love that you get from your children is just, you just can't compare it with anything else. But sometimes I think you need more from your life for yourself, and you
Right.
want to live for yourself and not just for the sake of people who are dependent on you or who are there in your life, whether it's your husband or your parents or something. You want to be more because
Right.
otherwise it feels stagnant. So that was where I was, and I did find a job. but it didn't work out. And
I'm not
I had to
surprised.
leave in about 7, 8 months, even though it was a good job.
uh,
But I was not happy. I was totally demoralized. I was like blaming my husband, I was blaming my children, I was like blaming God and everything else I could find, It's because of you I cannot work.
right.
Because it was so bad because I did not wanted to leave. I left or I was forced to leave. It made me even more unhappy.
Yeah.
And it was so much that at one point of time I was feeling really, really depressed. And I said, what have I done with my life? Why am I even here? Maybe just getting married itself was the wrong idea. If I was not married, then then again, you get into that loop and then start thinking about everything that has happened,
Right.
and it becomes that small loop becomes a big thinking loop and takes over your life. So
Yes.
I was in a bad state, but well, as luck would have it, we moved to the Netherlands after a couple of years, and I saw this university very close to my house, and I said, maybe why don't I start with studying? Let's see how it goes. But maybe I start with doing something, literally something.
Completely get it. You know what? That's something that we really, really have in common. That that mom guilt, right? That mom guilt. So my daughter and me, we've had this conversation where, I've made it clear to her that you were not a mistake. Like, I don't regret having you. I regret the timing. Like, I regret the timing of it because I feel like I should have been a different person because I was responsible for a whole life, right? And when that hit me, that you are responsible for a life, and when it hit me, it was just like, what the hell? Like, oh my gosh, So, yes, I completely relate to that. And so, go ahead.
That's great. I don't know how but were you like even depressed like I was, or was it like just that moment of doubt for you?
I didn't go into depression about that. I've gone into depression. But it was more over losses. That didn't depress me. It was just kind of more like an eye opener. And it was the catalyst for my personal development. It was a catalyst for my personal development, and it helped me to shape all of my decisions. Like, for instance, you were saying, regretting, not wanting to send your child to daycare, that kind of thing, or whatever. So that in itself wasn't an issue for me. What was a turning point for me was when I was working at this company, and the boss that I had at the time, my daughter was unhappy, right? And my sister that's under me came to me and said, my niece is unhappy, fix it. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. And so I was working this job where I was traveling. I was a traveling hairstylist.
Okay.
And I was gone. I was working pretty much 6 days a week, but I was out of state, probably like 4, right? And so I wasn't really having time with her. I wasn't really having time with her, right? And technically, I wasn't raising her, right? I was her mother, but I wasn't raising her. And so I went and had a conversation with my boss at the time because I was an independent contractor at that. But I went and had a conversation with my boss at the time. And I said, okay, so I need to be local more. So if I could only go out of state 3 days out of the week, that would really be helpful for me. And he said to me, well, you can spend time with your daughter on the weekends. I was like,
Oh
what?
my God.
Uh, with all disrespect intended, there's a difference between raising your child and spending time with your child, right? I opt to raise my child. And so I had to make that hard decision to leave because I knew that he wasn't going to, give me that freedom and flexibility that I needed to raise my child. And so that was one of those spaces for me where it was just kind of like, okay, you got to make this hard decision, right? And what grounded me in my decision and all of the hardships that came as a result of that decision was that nobody will ever dictate to me when or if I can be available to my daughter when she needs me. Nobody. And because of that, it just kept me out here in this entrepreneur world, right? It kept me doing what I had to do, with integrity to, be successful in business, to, keep a roof over our head, keep the bills paid, keep food on the table, that type of thing. And so that's what it was for me, and so yeah, parenting, definitely some hard decisions, right?
It is so very hard. But I think I love that idea where you said that, nobody should be able to dictate and on when I want to spend time with my daughter and how much time I spend. So I think
Mhm.
that's great. And, that was motivating for you. And I think I had, and sometimes children do help you with those motivations and actually draw you to the path that you're meant to be. And I sort of, appreciate my daughter for that as well, because she somewhere knew that I was not very happy with the last episode of not things not working out, and she
Mhm.
really supported me. And even though she felt so anxious that she doesn't want to be with a babysitter when I had those extra classes when I was studying, or when she knew that, and she had those fears that I probably might get busier and I would not always be available for her, but she kept that, no, mommy, you can do it. And that meant so much for me, because that was a huge transformation from I don't want to go to daycare, and if you're working for money, then you can take it out of my piggy bank,
Oh,
to the stage where she said that, no, mommy, I think you should go for it. So, and I think that's when, after the study that I did, I picked up a master's program. And after I finished that, instead of finding a job, even in pandemic, it was hard anyway, but probably if I continued, I would have found something. I said, no, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I don't want to get into that 9 to 5, and it doesn't end at 5. It
right,
on,
right.
sometimes the weekends. I don't think I really want to be away from the children. I want to do something that I really like, I am good at. And I remembered something that I'd read around that time, which is the ikigai, some Japanese principle of what career you should do. And I look at what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about. And what I need is something for women where I can help them, because I had just come out of that. And I
Yeah.
was beginning to get my self confidence. I was beginning to get, that clarity that everything happens for a reason, and I emerged stronger because I managed those emotions and I came out of that mode of that depression and that constant thinking loop. And I said, no, I have to do something and help other women. and and I saw that when I was talking to other women, like friends and other people in the family who were working, they were all juggling with the same stuff, which I never thought so much. But then I said, no, everybody is facing that and they need help. And most of the times we feel that we can get over it. It will pass. It is just a phase.
Oh
But
my gosh. Because being out here in the marketplace, being out here, even in the workplace, being away from your children, it's not always the easy decision. And but it's also not always the best decision, right? It's just not always the best decision, because if it's in your heart to be at home with your children, then there's a way for you to be at home with your children. Don't force yourself to be out in the workplace. But if your desire is to be out there in the workplace and not at home with the children, then that's something, like sometimes we feel like you said earlier, we have to do something for ourselves, something that makes us feel alive, something that makes us feel like, okay, I'm not just showing up for everybody else, like what I want matters, what I need matters, and so absolutely but it goes back to the decisions, like hard decisions.
Decisions. And you know what, I don't know what you think about this, but when I look at the corporate world, and they say that, oh, why are women not in higher positions, why are women not in so many other jobs, or there are not enough women in technology or banking or law or whatever. And then you realize that the moment somebody gets married, a woman gets married and she has kids, then her responsibility shifts from the job to the house and the career. And while the man is progressing and moving ahead, yeah, the
Hmm.
woman has to take a step back. And by the time they realize what has happened and they can go back, they have already lost a few years. And
Hmm.
then obviously their growth is stunted. And then it's hard for them to reach at that level that people are talking about. And they say, yes, equality, and we want more women there.
Gotcha. That's a really valid and touchy topic, but I don't mind touching it
I'm
because
glad.
listen, I say the hard things. Like people get mad at me all the time because I say what needs to be said, but it's just kind of like, I mean, you can be mad, it's okay. Um, Again, back to decisions where our whole conversation started. It dawned on me that I'm responsible for a whole life. Like, and when you get the depth of that, like you've got to make some huge decisions. And one of the things that we as women have to appreciate and not devalue ourselves about is the fact that being a mother is a commitment and it's a huge sacrifice. If I want this career, if I want to be at the pinnacle of this thing or that thing, then having children, at least right now, might not be the best thing. It might not be the best move. And that's okay too. But I know a lot of women get kind of uh ostracized for the fact that they don't have children or don't want to have children. So it's just like we're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. Like, it's like, can we win? Like, can we win or whatever? But I really, it really comes down to personal choice, but going into that decision to be or not to be a parent, a mother, based on the timing that works for you. Which is in your heart? Is the career most important? Because here's what's true, and I've seen it. Girl, have I seen it? And I will call women out on it, and they don't like it, and I don't care. But I've seen women who really want to be career women have children, and then the relationship with the child suffers, or the parenting suffers because the energy and all of the attention is going towards the career, and they feel like, oh, I gotta do this mom thing, but I want to do this career thing, right? It's an internal conflict that she's got to find that balance in herself with, right? But then there's mothers, again, on the other end of the spectrum. There's mothers who just absolutely don't give a damn about a career. They just want to be a mother. And I'm here to encourage moms. That is the hugest, biggest job you will ever have. Ever, ever, ever. Right? So you're really working two jobs. If you do go out and get a job in the workplace or whatever, you really do have two jobs, because being a mom is your first job. And some women who love that need to embrace that she's not less than the woman who's out here conquering and opening doors and stuff like that. Because here's the balance. Look, I'm on my soapbox now, right? But here's the balance. You, the mom who wants to be home with your kids, doesn't give a damn about a career. Here you are shaping a world leader, right? And so this woman who's all about career, doesn't give a damn about having children. She's opened the door for your world leader to go and walk through. So it all pans out. Like, we're all serving our purpose if we could just all appreciate who we are, where we are, and walk in that. Does that make sense?
No, I love that thoughts that, we all have a purpose, and some women are actually opening the doors, and some women are raising those leaders for, to get there. I think that's a wonderful way of looking at, and you said it so well. So I'm completely in with that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like there's no judgments, but again, it's a timing because I remember I remember I was on a panel once speaking with I believe it was all women. I'm not really sure, but it was a little while ago. Um After the event was over, this woman had brought her newborn baby to the event with her, right? And she wanted to speak with me or ask me a question to share something with me after the event was over or whatever. And so, I was standing there talking to her, and it was one of those times I had to say the hard thing, right? So she was telling standing there with baby in the goddamn carrier,
Mhm.
talking to me, telling me about her husband and her other two children at home, and her job as a nurse, and her wanting to start this business. And I said to her, I was just like, I'm super excited about your business idea, but this is not the time to implement that. And she was just like, what? Because listen, a lot of times women confuse superwoman syndrome with being a superwoman. There is a difference, right?
Is a
And so
huge.
it's just kind of like, sis, listen, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're an employee, you got a brand new baby, brand new, okay? Brand new. There's no way that you would be able to start a business right now and those other relationships not suffer. There's no way. Now, if you don't care about brokenness in your relationship with your other children, if you don't care, I mean, with your children, if you don't care about brokenness in your marriage and the possibility of divorce, then go for it. Go for it. But girl, I'm trying to tell you, it's too much. Definitely execute, put together a plan. This is a great time for you to be, cultivating your idea, putting together, some action steps, and, doing some research, all of that good stuff. But actually trying to build a business, nah, ma, ain't the time.
I
It's
so
not the
agree
time.
with you. Yeah, I so agree with you. Either you don't have the kid, or if you have it, then wait it out.
Man, listen. And so it's just kind of like it's okay to be where you are. Just don't get comfortable there because you're going further. But timing is everything with us. And I say that right now, but it was something that I had to learn along the way because I too used to get upset because I would get these ideas, right? And I would be trying to run with these ideas. And it would feel like every time I was about to break out and do something, something happened with my daughter, and I had to give her my attention. And I almost allowed myself to develop resentment towards her, right? This is just real talk because listen, as moms, we got to have this real talk, right? So I had to catch myself building resentment towards her and resentment towards the fact that I had to stop to resentment towards her because I felt like I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. That every time she was stopping me from being who I wanted to be and doing what I wanted to do. And so I wanted to blame her, right? But I had to check myself. I had to check myself and understand it's just kind of like, listen, she didn't ask to be here. You
Absolutely.
chose to bring her here. And so because you chose to bring her here, she is the priority.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, it's a decision, and like you kept saying, you've said this so many times, and I so agree with this that it is the decision that we've made, and we need to stick to it, and we need to appreciate those decisions that we have made, conscious decisions, because nobody forced you into it. You agreed, you made those decisions consciously. You knew what you were getting into. So
Mhm.
I think it's important to respect, your choices that you made and not forget why you made them. And
Right.
and because that happens in the process, and because we forget, and that is why those blames and those guilts, or that resentment comes in. So I think it's so important to just remember why we made those choices, and how rewarding this whole experience is. But I think it's also important that when those feelings come, it's a learning process as well, like you
For
said.
sure.
So we have to learn, and we have to grow, and we have to emerge stronger, the real superwomen that we are. We have to grow. So it's just so important.
Exactly. And again, that's what Superwoman Wednesday is about. It's about healing our soul, because how many moms will be honest and or open and say, I'm feeling resentment towards my child. You know what I'm saying? But creating that space where they feel like, oh my gosh, again, I thought I was the only one. Like, but it's like, nah, sis, you're not the only one. I would be looking at my child side eyeing like,
Yes, totally agree with you there. It's just, yeah, we all have to realize it, and we all have to deal with it. And sometimes it's hard to deal on your own, and it takes forever. And sometimes we don't really learn the right lessons, and we go down where instead of going up. So
yeah.
the right time, the right help, the right discussion with the right people is so important.
With the right people. Oh my gosh. I was just having a conversation with a superwoman yesterday. I've been working with her in her relationship with this guy or whatever, right? And they're trying to decide whether, they want to be in this committed relationship with one another. So they're kind of getting to know each other. And being having a boyfriend, so to speak, is a new experience for her, even though she's not a young girl at all. But she's just been so career minded, education and career minded, that she wasn't she's dated, but she wasn't committed to anyone, right? So, I was telling her, I was just like, okay, so what you got to do is you've got to develop your relationship skills, because you don't know how to be a girlfriend, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to be a wife. You don't know how to be that yet, but there's a process for it, and you need support, and you got to develop that skill while you're in that process, right? And so I was telling her about this guy. Was just like, listen, this is what you've got to understand. It's not him, it's you. Because you've got to pass this test. And if you don't, you're going to deal with this guy again in another body, somebody else's body. But you've got to go around this mountain again until you pass the test. And I know a lot of women don't want to hear that, right? But again, that's what I do. I'm going to say the hard things, and you might not like me for it, but as long as you know that it's coming from a place of love, I don't care, because my goal is to help you avoid the pain, the trauma, the drama that I've gone through, you know what I'm saying, and that I've seen so many other women go through, if you possibly can. Because granted, there's some growing pains, there's some things that you've got to go through and experience for yourself, but if you don't have to, don't. So it's just like, I'm just sharing with you because it's coming from a place of love, not of judgment, not of condemning, because I am you. I've been there, I've done that. I just don't want you to do it too, because I know the consequences, I know the results of it, I know the lack that you experience because of it, all of those. Again, but back to what we were saying, because of the decisions we made, these decisions, right? And then it's just kind of like, damn, I didn't know it was gonna be this.
So true. Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of superwomen, tell me, Deepa, what makes you a superwoman?
I think the fights and winning those fights, I think that's what makes me superwoman. And the fact that I'm willing to come out of those fights as winners, as a winner, and that constant struggle that I have inside of me, where I get those kind of thoughts, those emotions, and those feelings, and then being able to overcome. We all have fights with ourselves, with people around us, with people that we love. And it's because we have those beliefs, those values, and those things that we stand for. And whenever there is a fight, it's not just a fight with somebody else, it's also a fight with yourself. And when you can learn the reason for that fight and emerge as a winner in a positive way, which helps you along your journey in the future, I think that is what makes me a superwoman. Not
Yes.
jobs that I do, but the fact that I am learning and growing in this process, and I'm serving the purpose of my life, because I so believe that the reason why I'm here is not to do just those things that I'm supposed to do, but to learn and grow from all the things that happen in my life. And if I am doing that, then I have served my purpose.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes, girl, wear the S on your chest. So, Deepa, tell us, where can we find you on social media?
Right. I have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, both at DEE Life Coaching.
Mhm.
And you can see my post there. You can see what work I do. I also post, some tips and tricks for you to do well. And of course, if you have any questions and if you would like to message me, please feel free. That's great. Yeah.
Awesome. This was so wonderful. I had so much fun. I am looking forward to the day, Deepa, when you come back and you share with us again. Deepa has shared her contact information with us. Reach out to her. Like, go check out her social media and see what she has to offer. Like I said, listen, I love superwomen. Okay. I love the superwoman. And all that matters to me is that you're blessed, is that you're breaking through, is that you're believing in yourself. And if you're not getting that from me, or if you just want to get it from other sources, because like, who is it? It's like there's Oprah, and who else is a talk show person? Like somebody else is a talk show person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but Oprah doesn't have the only talk show. Other people, Wendy Williams. Two different worlds, but you get what I'm saying, but some people are sophisticated, but they got a little ratchet in them, right? And so you can go to but Oprah and get the sophistication, you can go to Wendy and get the ratchet, right? But it's just like there's space for all of us, right? So listen, Superwoman, thanks for joining us for Superwoman Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we will have a Superwoman from somewhere around the world. I don't know, but she'll be here and she's going to be here to help you. So love you. Bye, dolls.
Bye.